So some of my fondest memories are in my track days. I swam competition for years. I did synchronized swimming for 5 years. I was a track runner for 7, 8 years. I was a hurdler. I actually held the 330 low hurdles record at my high school for 18 years, but I didn't even know for the first 15 years. I was a dedicated athlete. I wasn't the fastest necessarily. We had really fast girls at my high school. But I every year got MVP because I was the most dedicated. I would eat, drink, sleep the sport. If my coach told me to do something, I didn't question. I did it. I ran hurdles and I was 5'2". So my coach would say, Lisa, you're not the fastest and you're definitely not the tallest. So you have to beat your competitors by your technique. You have to out-train them. When they jump the hurdle, you have to walk over the hurdle because that's the one thing that you could possibly do better than them, but it requires you being more dedicated than anybody else. And my track coaches, and all my coaches actually taught me how you don't have to be the tallest or the thinnest because I wasn't the thinnest, I wasn't the tallest, and I wasn't the fastest. But I was the one who had a hurdle in my front yard. And on Friday nights when everyone else was partying after the games, I was at home working on my lead leg and then working on my trail leg. I was the one that sat and looked at television while doing this. I would just sit and look at television because my coach said that the one thing people have to choose to do is train hard. You don't just get that with height and you don't just get that with size. And so I trained hard. And ultimately, when I graduated high school, I was selected as one of the top 50 female athletes in the state of California. And I was given the honor. I graduated in 1984, proud of 1984, proud of my year. And 1984 was the same year as the Los Angeles Olympics. And I was one of the 50 young women, get choked up talking about it, selected to work at the Olympics. So here I was, this young athlete. And I wasn't an extraordinary athlete by natural ability. If I was extraordinary, it was because I worked really hard at my craft. And as a way to honor that achievement, being a state champion, I worked at the Olympics. So I'm not sure if you remember this or if you know this, but when the athletes on the track field, when they take their clothes off, their sweats off, and they're ready and they're stretching and they're about to get in the blocks, they put their clothes in a basket. You're looking at the basket girl. I was the girl that collected literally Olympic athletes' clothes. Oh, it was such an honor to be right there in lane 3, right there in lane 6, right there in lane 8 with some of the greatest athletes of that time. Valerie Briscoe-Hooks, Flo-Jo, Evelyn Ashford, some of the greatest, Mary Decker-Tab, some of the greatest athletes of that time. Here I was, 18 years old, just turned 18, and I'm standing behind Olympic athletic women that I just watched from a distance. Now I'm carrying their clothes. One of the most memorable moments was the 220-yard dash. See, when they got in the blocks, sit, pow, the gun went. These ladies went, it felt like there were motors in their shoes. I'd never seen women run so fast. I'd never seen anyone run so fast. And they're flying around that curve, and they came around, and I'm at the beginning going, who's going to win? Because they were all phenomenal. Evelyn Ashford, Valerie Briscoe-Hooks, Flo-Jo, all of them are insanely fast. And they're coming in. I mean, they look like literally smoke is coming off their shoes. And they go across the finish line. They break the world record. Number 1 breaks the world record. Number 2 breaks the world record. And number 3 breaks the world record. Who comes in third and breaks the world record? Some fast women. I was in awe. I was in awe of their ability. I was honored to witness it. But good got great. We picked up the baskets like we do. the basket girls, and we walk in a single file line. We were very trained. And we walk in a single file line to go up in the tunnel is what they called it. And in the tunnel, only the basket girls and the athletes were allowed. They didn't want any distraction, no family, no coaches, because they didn't want the distraction, just the basket girls and their athlete. So here we are. The 1984 Olympics, the world record was just broken by number 1, 2, and 3. And I'm one of the 8 people that gets to be in the tunnel with him after that moment. Cameras are going off and flashing, and people are yelling, and they're doing their victory laps. And then there's a very quiet moment of when they're just putting their sweats back on, and they're taking off their spikes. And I just got to witness it. And I got to witness number 2 and number 3, and I'll never forget Florence Griffith Joyner, better known as Flo-Jo, may she rest in peace. She said, she looked up at me and said, a true champion is not how you win, sweetheart, but it's the dignity in which you're willing to lose in. She put on her sweats and her shoes and walked away, patting everybody on the back. It's a defining moment for me. In that moment, I said, I'm going to be the world's greatest loser. I planned at 18, I planned to win a lot. But when I don't, I'm going to be that kind of loser. And not that she lost. It's the way she was willing to embody the entire experience. I never thought that in order for there to be a winner at the Olympics, there had to be 9, 8, 7, 6 losers. And the losers are extraordinary. And I say losers loosely, because no one's a loser. No one. And especially not in that circle. Everyone was a winner. Someone just had to come in first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Someone just has to place. And so it redefined losing to me. Like losing and being a loser is relative. Like, I'm okay to come in third. I'm okay. I'm a grinder. I'm okay to come in third. I'll honor fourth and fifth, and I'll honor 2 and 1. And that day, another part of me was born, the part of me that would embrace the journey. Little did I know this life was on its way. Thank you to all of the phenomenal athletes that I got to witness. And the other 49 little girls, 18 with bright eyes, who was equally as excited about holding the sweats in the basket as I was. I am a great leader. If I am at all, I pray that I am, because I was an amazing basket girl. Never cry about this. This really must be the year. This is the 20th anniversary year kind of thing, and the reflections thing, and the whole live long enough. My grandmother used to say, live long enough, baby. And I'm like, what does that mean? Live long enough. Like, Grandma, how can you forgive people who really hurt you? Live long enough, baby. Grandma, how can you be so graceful in the midst of a storm? Live long enough, baby. She always say, live long enough, baby. And now I get it. Reflecting on 20 years of this experience and looking back on things that I just kind of flew by. I didn't mention that moment in the tunnel to anybody ever. It's the first time I've ever told the story. I don't even think I valued it for many years, because I wanted to be in the Olympics, not the basket girl. And I realized, man, I had the best seat in town. I wasn't worried about my race. I got to see every race. So if this doesn't make sense to you, live long enough, baby.